Come on in. I see you guys. Welcome back. Alright, so let's kind of just recap about what happened last time. We kind of talked over goals and talked about setting, savings away for a house. And then kind of talked about budget, that you guys have student loans. Do you guys want to talk more about that right now? Or do you have any questions from last time?
No, I think we're just a little stressed over our current goal, which is to buy a house.
You have an apartment right now, correct?
We do.
Okay. So you guys have been looking for a house. Have you found kind of the area, kind of the range of the price for the house at all?
I think the range that we wanted to stay in was probably about $250K. And just been doing a lot of research on what that would look like as far as a down payment, and just at least being able to put the minimum down of maybe 3% of that.
Yeah, 3% is a pretty good amount, so that you can qualify for some of the other kinds of loans that would be better, like the FHA loans. So 250. Okay, go ahead and write that down for you guys. All right, and then tell me more about when you're looking for a house, when you're researching. It can be kind of overwhelming and stressing, I know, to kind of find a place, find a home that you guys both like. I know that some of the homes you might have to make some compromises. Has that been brought up at all?
Yeah, it has.
Like to elaborate a little bit on that?
Sure. Yeah, I think it's just not going so well, our house hunt, because we do have so much anxiety and worry about the implications of spending so much money and having such a large debt on top of the debt that we already have.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been weighing heavy on us, I'd say.
Okay. Can you tell me a little bit more, maybe break it down of where you guys started, wanting a house, and then where that anxiety may be coming from?
Well, I'll be graduating soon, and collectively, the both of us have a significant amount of student loan debt. So that's kind of where the anxiety started, and it's really causing a lot of sleepless nights. And then when I can't sleep, I'm just on the internet, just looking these things up, trying to research more and more, just to reassure myself that whether this can be a realistic goal or...
Yeah, I definitely understand where you're coming from with researching, feeling overwhelmed. So maybe we can stop doing the research so much, because it seems like you guys have a pretty good base as to what you want. And maybe let's talk about some of these anxieties that you're having, so that we can kind of move on to the next step of actually budgeting for a house and purchasing one.
Right.
Yeah. So you want to tell me maybe some of your past experiences, perhaps?
In terms of buying a house,
Yeah.
why we're worried. Well, when I was younger, my parents, they bought a house, and unfortunately it didn't work out so well. I think they didn't plan, or they didn't realize how much money it would cost, and they ended up losing the home. So that's something that I worry about a lot.
Yeah. Do you have the same kind of fear background?
Not so much. My parents actually own their own house, and they're currently still in the same house that I grew up in. So,
With Alan sharing this, did you kind of know already about this? Have you guys kind of talked about that, or?
we have talked about it, and that's kind of where my anxiety lies. Is I came from the opposite situation where my parents own their house, and it's the childhood house that I grew up in, and just being fearful of maybe us falling into the same issues that his family fell into, that his parents fell into when they lost their house.
Okay. Well, I think so. Just because you had a past experience does not mean it will happen to you. You're not your parents, and because of that experience, maybe it'll help you if anything, prepare for situations that have happened in the past. So you can use that, but in a positive way for the future. And then writing out the cost of the home, which we can definitely do in our next session. And keeping in budget will prevent falling behind in payments. Saving up a rainy day fund will help for the future issues. So all the things that you've been researching about people not being able to make payments on their house, we can kind of set aside some money for, you guys is in between jobs at some point, or if it's a bigger payment than you think, and you'll have kind of money set aside for that. So then you're able to afford a house, stay in budget, and then deal with realistic planning for the future. How does that sound?
That sounds great.
Sounds good.
Okay, great. I'll make sure to email all this to you guys, and then we can follow up sometime next week.
That sounds great.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for coming in, you guys.
Thank you.
Let me show you guys out. Welcome back. Last time we talked about you guys wanting a house, about $250,000. You kind of already have been researching a lot, staying up long nights researching. You told me about your parents, about how the past kind of has affected you guys going forward in the future for your parents' foreclosure on their house and the situation with that. So if you guys want to start from there and kind of tell me, now that you stepped away and come back, where you're at now, how you feel, what's been going on.
Yeah. I think we're definitely feeling a lot more confident about our decision to buy a house. And now that we've kind of identified some of the beliefs that have been holding us back, I think we're ready to go forward with it.
Okay. All right, Nikki, so go ahead and tell me kind of what you've been feeling. We kind of heard from Ellen. I kind of want to know what you've been feeling.
Well, I kind of still feel a little unprepared, and I'm still having like sleepless nights, still having a lot of anxiety, and still finding myself just researching and trying to reassure myself that we're on the same page and that we're doing the right thing.
Okay, and it is still from Alan's background, the things that he's brought up and the anxieties from that, or is it something different?
Mostly from the background issues.
All right, so these kind of consequences of having late nights, not sleeping, trying to research, do you think that's been helpful with you guys, moving forward with actually purchasing a house?
Probably not so much.
Now, what do you do when you see this? Have you noticed her behaviors?
Yeah, I definitely noticed that she worries a lot about it. And I think that maybe holds her back from seeing like potentially where we could be. So.
Okay. So, I mean, have you guys tried anything in terms of maybe creating a more positive outlook? Thinking about, when we actually buy a house, are these still going to affect me? Are you still going to feel the anxiety of this? Or has this like completely roadblocked you guys into even wanting to purchase a house anymore?
I think we're still planning on purchasing a house and just trying to come up with a healthy plan and healthy habits to just shift my focus away from always researching and worrying into the positive aspects of buying a house.
All right, so I mean, we've talked about kind of the worst thing that could possibly happen. You could potentially lose a house, and that is a realistic fear to have. It's definitely something that does happen, and you've experienced this, but I don't want that to deter you from the future of what you could potentially have and have it hold you back from something you guys really want. So I think having that new positive outlook of getting the house and feeling good about it, you won't have to research or study, because then you'll actually have the house and feel good about it and have your budget, have your plan, you'll get some sleep, you guys will be working together. I mean, can you guys think of some things that are kind of positive once you get the house that you can kind of think about, like, why am I doing this? What makes this helpful thinking this way?
Sorry, ask that question again.
That's okay. What's some feedback that you guys have of thinking instead of, oh my gosh, if we get this house, we're going to lose it. But then instead thinking, okay, we can do this. We've got this down. We've got our plan. We're going to purchase this house, and then how's that going to make you feel thinking that way instead of the other?
I think that would definitely help us a lot. I think it would bring us back to why we want to buy a house in the first place. We value independence. We've always wanted our own house together, so definitely kind of stressing less and focusing on the positive aspects of homeownership would put us in a better place, I'd say.
Does that make you feel comfortable, Nikki?
That does make me feel comfortable just hearing him say those things and just kind of looking at it in a more realistic point of view.
Yeah, because I know that you both want to see you've expressed that to me. So I think maybe just writing it down, having it in front of you while you're maybe making these decisions, or like a sticky note on your computer that says, you know, these are the positive things that are going to happen from having a house, and this is going to how it's going to make me feel. Then we'll deter you guys from doing those negative thoughts that, you know, are going to not be helpful and definitely make you want in the future. So, all right, do you guys have any other concerns today, or do you want to get out of here and have your lunch with your friends, and then we can reconvene and follow up maybe next week?
Yeah, sounds good.
Sounds good. Okay, great.
We're gonna have to re-record.
Good.